Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is the Managed Comics Thoughtstream for Thursday, June 23rd. I, as always, am Brian, your host. And today I'm joined by a very special guest who we'll talk about in just a few short minutes. I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. So as always, smash that like button, subscribe, comment, share, tweet, Facebook, Twitch, I don't know, whatever you got to do to get the word out about the Managed Comics Thoughtstream. Do your part, and we're doing our part by being here every Thursday. Next week is the Managed Comics Road Trip, hashtag Managed Comics Road Trip on Instagram. We are going to Detroit, Michigan. So I'll be hitting a couple shops on the way down to Detroit. I know we're going to hit Comic City, so we've already made plans with Bob at Comic City. My plan is to get a hold of Michael at Time Travelers and the folks at Big Ben's Comics Oasis. And there's a couple other shops in there that we aren't doing business with yet, but I plan on coming by and saying hi. So if your shop is in the Detroit area and you'd like us to come by, make sure you drop a comment in the comments, and I'll do my best to make it your way. So we're coming from Sarnia, so we kind of come north from the north down along the river. So I think we should be able to hit. I'm not sure if we're staying 2 days or 3 days. We may kind of extend our trip to Friday. So if we stay 3 days, we'll probably hit 10, 12, 13 stores. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Again, in August, we're going to do C2E2. So if you've got a shop in Chicago, make sure you let us know, and we will do our best to hit it. We have got plans to hit. Well, for sure, we'll be going to visit our friends at Challengers, but I'd love to hit a couple other shops in the meantime as well. So I think that will do it for kind of my big picture stuff. In terms of what we're working on right now, really the biggest thing that we're working on is the POS integration. We've still got a couple more weeks on that. I have seen the beginnings of it, and it's really exciting to see it starting to take shape. We're still trying to figure out exactly how it will work, if it has to be its own dedicated app, or if we can use the existing, I forget what that's called. There's like a term for the app that's in that already can show up on the POS. So hopefully that will be working very shortly. Yeah. So Madness says POS integration. Yeah, we're integrating with the Shopify POS, and we're going to have a tab on Shopify POS that will allow you to bring orders directly into the Shopify POS with discounts and all that stuff. So that's what we've been working on for the last couple of weeks. And we do have some cool things that work with BinderPaws, and I should actually do a separate video on those. We actually added to the orders a new feature called something and restock. I think it's like fulfill and restock. And basically what that does is it allows you to take the items that are in somebody's order, push them back into your store, and then you can check them out manually with BinderPaws and include their discount at the cash register. And then what that does is it gives you a little, like a faster way of checking somebody out and still integrating. It basically counts the fulfill and restock as having purchased their books. And then, that should, in theory, kind of help with some of the kind of life cycle of a transaction stuff. As you guys can hear from my voice, I've been sick, non-COVID. Knock on wood, I've tested negative 3 times now. But yeah, I may have to bail out sooner than later if my voice completely goes. But in the meantime, let me introduce you to our new resident hero. His name is Ivan Wine. And
Hello.
Here's Ivan. There he is. Ivan, how you doing?
Doing pretty well.
Excellent.
Been a
So
busy
I thought
morning.
I would just do the kind of standard who, what, where, when, why, how, when, what, why questions, and we'll learn a little bit about you. How's that sound?
Excellent.
So let's start off with who the heck are you?
I'm Ivan. I live in St. Louis, and I work at Managed Comics now, doing basically Fat Totem. I do what needs to be done that I'm capable of doing. So
That's yeah, you're kind of my guy Friday. So yeah, I've been basically not just the face of Managed Comics, but also managing all of the data, managing all the customer relationships, managing all the help desk requests. On an average week, we probably get, what would you say, 20 requests in a week?
I would say we get probably actually more like 10 a day.
Yeah, so it's
Do you include like people just wanting information about the service and everything?
That's true. So yeah, we're responding to a lot of requests in a day, and just having somebody to kind of help with some of the heavy lifting around that is really, really helpful. Plus, the data stuff is honestly, it's a full-time job in itself, and the data that we get is often terrible, and our job is to make it like just merely poor by the time it gets to you, and then hopefully, with your help, we can make it good. And maybe someday, with all of us working together, we can make it awesome. Julian says, admit it, 50% of the requests are from us. No, I wouldn't say 50, but some days you guys can get up there into the 3 and 4 digits. Yeah, for sure.
It's not a contest, guys.
That's right. That's right.
We like to all eat.
Ivan, let's talk a little bit about your secret history. What did you do before you came to Manage Comics?
Oh man, I've worked so many different jobs, like from being a mad scientist, that was the actual title, working in a costume shop slash magic store. I worked in biotech for a while doing document control, and was a Airbnb host for several years, and also more recently managed a comic book store. So, and using Managed Comics.
Listen, wow, it's like you're a subject matter expert.
I tried.
So how long have you been a comics nerd?
My very first comic book, I believe, I'm pretty certain, was Ghost Rider number 63. And I say that because I traced the cover so many times that the outline of the motorcycle and Ghost Rider actually started separating as if I had cut them out.
Wait, now Ghost Rider 63, like the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider or the Dan Catch?
Yeah, 1980, right. 1980, 81. Yeah.
Cool. So what's your favorite comic series of all time?
Of all time, see that's difficult. I don't know if I could pick a favorite of all time. The Parker series by Darwin Cook would definitely be up there.
Didn't you just get the Martini edition recently?
The Final Call, which is the second half of that. Yes. Yeah. I was really fortunate when I lived in Boston. The person who managed the comic book store that was right up the street from me was super knowledgeable, and I went in there and told her what my interests were, and before I knew it, I was walking home with Parker and Black Sad and all kinds of stuff like that. Because I'd been out of comic books, I had to admit. I was out of comic books for a good 5 years from the or so. So once I moved from Toronto, I didn't have as easy access there for a while.
What was your shop at Toronto?
The Big Island.
Okay,
cool. It was right around the corner for me for the most part.
Right.
Basically, all the scene shots in Scott Pilgrim were in my neighborhood.
Yeah. So the 5-year period, when did that period start?
Late 2000s.
Cool.
To about 2009 or 10. Well, whenever Parker, the first Parker book came out, that was I picked up the man with the giveaway face freebie.
Right.
The first time I walked in there, so it'd be about that
Cool.
time. That is.
So you left the industry roughly when I was starting Managed Comics. That was 2005, and you came back to the industry roughly when I sold All New Comics to my partner. So that's hilarious. Because I sold in 2011, which is around when you would have come back. That's very funny.
Yeah.
And then
And you probably walked into the computer store I worked at when I was working at the computer store there in Toronto.
Yeah, we've talked about that a little bit, that you worked at the shop that I'm pretty sure I probably bought ridiculously overpriced now memory. I think I bought like 32 megabytes of RAM from those guys for $300 at one point, because that's what the price of RAM was at the time.
Oh, yeah.
So old.
I remember spending like maybe $200 to double my RAM on my 486 DX so I could run Warcraft.
It's so funny, isn't it? And then like a month ago, I went to Canada Computers here, and I bought a 2 terabyte NVMe RAM drive for like, I think it was $180.
Yeah,
that goes on my Mac. I think that's fun.
insane.
Okay, what is your ultimate Grail object? So this is like the holy Grail of things that you've been looking for forever.
Wow. Currently, it's not as holy a Grail as Grails go, but the volume 2 of the Harrow County Library edition, because for some reason that became impossible to get without paying stupid prices. Or, a decent English translation of Mobius's The Long Tomorrow, because those have not been in print since 1983, I think, when Marvel Epic put out a bunch of stuff.
I'm going to tell you a little secret here, and I want you to keep this under your hat. But we currently serve about 163 individual comic stores, and I'll bet you at least one of those guys knows where to find one of those things. So if you do, let us know, and let us know what you want, and we'll talk. Maybe you can let me know, and maybe there's a Christmas gift on Ivan's Horizon. I'll tell you, you want to know what mine are? So my Grail object that I have achieved is my Tony Harris drawing, my favorite artist, Tony Harris. The second, it's a toss up. I also have a Nightwing drawing by George Perez, which is like one of my favorite things. I own the page before the last page of Starman #3, which is like, it's a shot of like an alien landscape, and the next picture is Mikhail, who's like the original Starman, not the original, but like the alien Starman from the 70s. And I know the guy that owns that page, and that's the page I want, and that would be because I'd mount them together, the two pages, and he and I are always going back and forth about who's going to buy their page. Will he buy my alien landscape, or do I buy his splash page? So that's my thing. The other one would be, I'd love a good Teen Titans 1980s Perez page. That'd be super cool. But
I've been tempted to put out a loan to get a piece of Darwin Parker art, but any of the ones that has anything like it's not a landscape.
Yeah, he was such a good guy. I met him probably 3 or 4 times. Like, I wasn't buddies or anything, but he would, like, I was going to Toronto conventions, and that was kind of the height of my convention going, 2005 to 2011, when he was doing a lot of stuff for what's it called, the New Frontier. He was doing a lot of tours around New Frontier stuff, and I met him a few times, and he was cranky, but in the best possible way. I really like that guy. He was a great guy, and gone way too soon. Speaking of gone too soon, did you see that Tim Sale passed away last week?
Yeah, I mean, we've lost about 3 big names in about a month.
3 titans in 3 months. Like, Neil Adams, George Perez, and Tim Sale. Which and Tim Sale was only 66. That's just a shame. So yeah, well, that's a bummer. Yeah, Ivan, what is the most interesting thing you've found since joining us?
Honestly, and this is really dorky, I'll perfectly admit, but fixing there's those big data sheets that you get every month that you throw at me and go, hey, do these. Those I like going in there and making sure all that stuff's right. It's like fixing the cover sequence information. And
yeah, and I'm hoping now that we've done it like 3 or 4 months and we're starting to kind of figure out the patterns around it, I would love to automate some of that stuff so that the computers do it. But right now, I think it's always important to do that stuff manually in the beginning to make sure that the patterns that you're seeing are the patterns that actually exist. And then we can kind of automate stuff more readily as the months go on. Yeah, that stuff is crazy, eh?
It's like what not Dynamite.
Oh yeah. No, you're right. Dynamite and Boom with
Dynamite
their
and Boom are the two. They're like, hey, never mind how UPC codes are done. We're doing it our own way.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, the last 5 digits of a UPC code on a comic book, the first 3 reference the issue number. The next one references the cover sequence, and the final one references the printing. With Dynamite and Boom, the first 2 reference the issue number. The next 2 reference the cover sequence, and then the last one references the printing, which is actually kind of good because both those guys break the 10s, 20s, 30s frequently. So, and neither of them have ever had a series go over 100. So that works out really, really well.
I guess it's okay when you're selling 30 different covers of
yeah,
Red Sonja and Betty Page books.
At the far end of the spectrum is Marvel, who will have 30 or 40 covers and basically has hijacked the printing number to reference like 10 through above. So they reserve 2, 3, 4, and 5 at the end, but they will still do like so the 10th printing will be 16, the 11th printing is 17, etc., etc. So yeah, figuring those kind of patterns out has been a real challenge, but now that we've got them figured out, I think we can probably start to automate some of this stuff. We're actually thinking some of the series code challenges that we've had, we've broken down the UPCs in a different way. Hey, look at that. Somebody's breaking our site. That's great. We get error messages. So when I say that we often know that something's wrong before you do, we literally do, because right now we're getting an error message. Let's see. Should we name and shame who the store is that's breaking the site? It's Variant Edition. Oh, Danica and Brandon, we love you. Why are you breaking our website? So it looks like they're trying to look at subscriptions. Oh no. Oh no, it looks like our server may be out of space. Hey, Ivan.
Yeah.
Why don't you chat with people for 30 seconds and I'm going to go fix our website.
All right. So yeah, it'd help if any of you guys decide to ask a question as opposed to me standing here staring at a reflection of myself. But we do have a lot of things in the works that we'd like to institute. I'm not certain. I'm not making any promises as to how long it's going to take, but putting in a way to let the system know that an issue is a reprint, so it doesn't get sent to all of your pull customers whenever you have to decide to order one. Yeah. How about that local ball team? So yeah, other than Ghost Rider, back in my early days, I read a lot of the bulky Forrest Croft style comics that would come to Mylar bag. You get like 4 or 5 issues And of course, Web of Spider-Man #1. I got that one at the grocery store and fell in love with that series. Followed Spider-Man all up through Kraven's Last Hunt, Death of Spider-Man, and at that point, I kind of moved away from the capes and tights and started reading. That was by the time that Vertigo really started getting their stuff out. I started reading that and Tank Girl. Of course, a lot of the Image titles that came out back then. And then, took a break for a little while, came back, and because as a poor college student, I couldn't afford comics, so I didn't read a whole lot in the mid to late 90s. And then, yes, absolutely. And really kind of cemented my love of like the old EC horror style comic books. And eerie and creepy as well. I have a few of the archive books for those. Far from a complete collection, though.
Have you ever heard of the phrase "swimming in the deep end"?
Yeah.
Swim, buddy, swim.
I can smell the chlorine.
I'm really sorry. So what just happened there is our and we expanded all of our servers just like 3 weeks ago, and we just ran out of server space. So I actually had to go in and truncate the logs. We actually have a process that does that every night, and so it may not have run for the last couple of nights. So I just fixed the problem.
That's what you get for being sick.
What's that?
So that's what you get for being sick.
And you know what the worst part is? So normally, like, Taras or I would see that, and one of us would fix it like instantly. And if I don't see it, Taras sees it. Well, Taras is driving to Toronto right now to put his mom on a plane. So so not so much so Taras fixing that. But yeah, we're back up and running. So I apologize for the brief out time, but we're good to go. All right. Do you want to show the folks what we've been working on? Because I think it's pretty cool and it's pretty fun.
The workflow.
For sure.
Yeah. So one of the things I think I come to the Managed Comics with is because I was a manager of a shop using Managed Comics. I'm pretty familiar with the workflow from the other end. And I know one of the things that can be a stumbling block when people first start out using the system is knowing all the secret handshakes, as Joe would say. And so I wanted to put together basically walkthroughs on how you do things, broken down by day, week, and month. Like, these are daily tasks. These are things you need to pay attention to for that. And they're right here listed out, easy to reference if you need to. These are the things you need to do once a week, once a month. And that way there's not as much stress when you're like, hey, how do I do the FLC again?
That's right. So we've been kind of putting this stuff together. I had kind of basic outlines of everything in the guide, but this is like a really great step-by-step. And I'm going to start adding videos to all of these things. Starting next week, you'll see a video. At this time next week, I'm going to live present our first kind of big video, which will be a walkthrough of the check-in process. So it'll go through the check-in process. It'll also detail the invoice process after that, and it'll probably go through the email process, which I'm working on right now. So you'll be able to see kind of, okay, I'm going to do my check-in, and then after I do my check-ins, I do my invoicing for any customers that need to be invoiced. So either there are people that are laggards that you want to invoice and get them to pay so that you're not sitting on stock that is unpaid, or there are folks that live, remotely and you need to get the books to them somehow, or maybe they're just curbside folks that you have to invoice that way. And then the last part will be sending out your pull emails. So that's the email that lets everybody know what was pulled for them that week. So I'll just show you real quick. This is our about workflow. So this just kind of talks about all the different workflows that we have. Although we've identified about another 6 on top of these that are starting to show up here as well. So these will actually be deep links into all the workflows when we're done this process. But we have this workflows portion now where you can actually see all the individual workflows. So we go through add a customer to manage comics. This one I've actually created a video for, so it'll walk you through step by step how you create a customer for Managed Comics. So of course, customers are actually Shopify customers. So we're going to walk you through how we added Tony Stark as a customer, and then how we added subscriptions for Tony Stark in Managed Comics. And then, yeah, there's always going to be related articles, so you can see things about that. What's your favorite one you've worked on so far?
Because there's actually 2. Because there's one that whenever you walk through with people, there's a couple of steps you gloss over that I find it important from a manager standpoint that I was able to highlight, and that's like tagging the comics whenever you receive you're processing your FOCs at the beginning of the week.
So would that be
one of the last pages? You have the option to add a tag to the entire series of in that shipment.
So that's the check-in weekly shipment?
Yes, should be.
So yeah, so we see what you're presented with an upload invoices screen. Go ahead and either drop your invoices into the box or click on add files, add a combination of invoices all at once. Now we have a list of it. So yeah, you can see your damages here, altering things, importing, and then this is the tag stuff that you're talking about.
That is how you get your smart collections to work properly for things like new releases. Well, that's half of the story. The other half also has a workflow entry, and that is how to change the tag for that.
And then clicking your pulls by tab date and date tab, you can actually see all your things sorted by different things. This, I guess we should make sure we mention that generating the pulls by date tab takes usually 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the size of your pull, just because it has to go through and create all the orders first. So once the orders have been created, then we can actually do some sorting on it. But until then, the only thing you'll ever see is kind of that first initial check-in, which only takes a couple seconds to generate. That's the thing that we're using in the background to create all the products, to create all the orders for those products. And that takes roughly each product that you have takes 2 to 3 seconds to create on Shopify. And then it goes through all the products before it updates the quantities and everything. And then it updates the quantities at the end, which is another second. So if you've got a 50 item pull, you're looking at probably 250 seconds, whatever that is in minutes. I guess 5-6 minutes, five minutes roughly. So yeah, that'll that's what's going to happen there. Yeah, that's a good one. I love the check-in process, and the check-in's one that we're going to definitely have a really good video for, because it's complicated, has multiple steps. I know
and
one of the things
that you do every week.
Yeah, that's right. One of the things
Speaking of which, another one, if I could interrupt, sorry to talk over you there. Another one that I was happy to put in there is the midweek shipment. It's like, what do you do? Diamond never ever sends you an invoice that you can download off of their site when you get the midweek shipments. But you have all this stuff. You want to put it out on the shelf so people can buy it. But it might be 3 weeks until you get an invoice that has those guides on it. So we made the walkthrough on how to create a custom invoice, basically, in the middle of the week. And grab your sub, any of your customers that ordered any special items, make sure that they get those when you process it.
That's right. Yeah. So I see that you mentioned that you can type out the name or scan the barcode. Yeah, scanning the barcodes is usually more accurate as well. And then it'll create all the items. Yeah, this is good stuff. I saw
there at the end. Yeah, notice I may have had some favoritism with the books that I checked in.
Yeah, there's a lot of Parker
Just,
here.
just
I think one of the things I noticed, and I don't know if this is published yet, you may still be working on it. I think you had an entire thing on tags, didn't you? Didn't I
I
see
have not
something?
written it yet.
Okay, cool.
I need to put that together. There's a lot of little details. But yeah, that is on the list. Tagging, I think, especially with that new, you're going to remember what it's called better than I do, but the new method that they have built for doing searches.
Meta fields.
Yeah, the metafields and tagging, I think, are going to be really super tools for shops to be able to allow customers to find the product they're looking for quickly and purchase it, especially for these shops that have a lot of different items.
Julian says, how to create Shopify collections powered by tags. Well, Julian,
Absolutely.
that's an interesting thing that you said, because that's actually not a feature that Shopify currently offers, but there is they're actually in the process of creating that as a new feature. And that should be out. Well, you can apparently try and get onto the beta of it. And I'm definitely going to get into the beta so that I can understand how it works. But it kind of looks like Shopify is going to be able to do a lot of the product filtering and kind of automatic collection creation that right now you have to rely on third-party apps, which I think is insane that you have to have
Yeah.
a third-party app do search and like they're expensive. The one I wanted to use is $150 a month, and that's just insane. Like that's obnoxious. So Julian says that his collections are all tag based, but I think you're using an old theme, and the old themes allowed you to do that. The newer themes don't, and they've actually deprecated that functionality to a really ridiculous degree. So yeah, that's your collections can be. Sorry, no, you're right. Your collections can absolutely be powered by tags.
It's the way we do our new releases.
Yeah, I'm talking more about the filtering. Sorry, Julian.
You're up here seeing this other a wider view of where Shopify is going. So when you read that, that's what direction you went in with that.
Yeah. So what I'm specifically talking about is a lot of this. So this you used to be able to create all the tags along the side using collections, and this is still a 1.0 Shopify theme, and so I've created all these things using collections. Using tags. There's new rules that you can't have more than, I think it's 150 tags that you can search through, and it's really dumb, like the different kind of rules that they put in place recently. So yeah, it looks like they're kind of creating a different way to do all that stuff using meta fields, because the meta fields, the metadata stuff is super powerful and will let us do a lot of
it is going to be amazing. I can't wait to get that working.
Yeah, and the good news is we've kind of been seeding sites with the metadata already. So a lot of metadata exists right now. We're also working on, Tross and I are just in the planning stages of a tool that will be included in Managed Comics, which will basically crawl through your entire product catalog. And we're going to match up all your UPCs, and we're going to create a meta tag called UPC for everything, which will then be able to compare against and see whether or not you already have these items in your shop. The problem right now we're facing is Lunar and Penguin Random House can have the same item with different codes, and so the product can end up getting duplicated in your store. This will allow us to have one unified tag that we can always use, which will be the UPC code. We're going to use the first 13 digits of the UPC, not the UPC, of the ISBN, because those are always the same, and we'll match those up, even though it could mean that you're going to overwrite you're going to add stock to the 1995 version of that item. We're just going to make sure that you have some way of knowing that these items have been updated with with new quantity, so you can change the price on it. But yeah, that's something that we're definitely going to do, because it's getting really, really gross out there, with all the different different distributors and everything having different SKUs. But then kind of bigger and more important down the line is that we should be able to crawl a website and say, this is all the information you're missing. So there's meta tags you're missing. There's title information that we can append. There's description information. There's images we can update. So we'd be able to provide a report, and then you could just go down and say, yeah, update all this, or don't update anything, or update. So yeah, that's something that'll probably come later this summer, as we kind of iron out this big, it's a fairly big undertaking, but I think it's really important because it will improve everything that we're doing around uploading things into Shopify. So I'll be honest, 6 months ago, I was thinking maybe we needed to pull back away from Shopify a little bit, because the Shopify ecosystem was becoming really weird and kind of not great. And the things that they've changed recently have totally changed my mind.
And they've been updating things on a fairly regular basis this year too.
Yeah, and they've, like, the announcements they've just made, and we have a partner town hall next week where they're going to talk to us about a bunch of the things that they're working on this summer. They're getting into like really regular cadences with their updates, and the updates they're doing are really big and fundamentally changing kind of the back end infrastructure, which is really important. They've hit kind of a maturity point where they needed to kind of step back and fix a lot of like infrastructure things, and I think they're doing a really good job with that. So kudos to Shopify for sure. Yeah, so for the next week or so, you'll be knee deep in workflows. I'm going to be away Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So congratulations on all the help tickets that you've inherited. And yeah, I'll be away, but I'm always checking my phone and things. So, but yeah, it's some exciting times, and I'm so glad to have you on board, Ivan. You've already been a huge
more than thrilled to be here.
And yeah, that's the other thing, is people you'll hear from Ivan a lot of the times before me, because he's more eager to respond to tickets than I am some days. And he just gets in there and responds to things. And Ivan's really good with walking folks through the actual setup of things, and he's got more hands-on experience recently with working in a shop than I do. So I feel like he just has a better kind of aptitude for that stuff, and is really able to help people out in a more genuine way than I think I can in a lot of cases. When it's I've
been an instructor in a couple of the past jobs I've done, so that helps a bit.
Yeah, it's good. You've got a lot more patience than I do. I'm just getting old and grumpy in my old age, I think.
I understand that.
Well, folks, before my voice entirely goes out, if anybody has anything they'd like to say, I know it takes a couple seconds for the questions to get out there, but if anybody got any questions or anything, shoot them right now. I just got to respond to Taras. He asked me if I fixed it. I sure did, buddy. So yeah, Taras just must have stopped at a gas station or something and saw that the site had gone down. But yeah, we're all good now. Anybody got any questions? Going once, going twice.
Oh, being easy.
Ivan, thanks so much for covering for me there while I recovered. That was awkward.
I skated by.
Oh, Julian says Quebec is closed tomorrow. Tickets on Saturday instead. Do you guys get both tomorrow and next Friday off for July 1st, or is July 1st just the rest of Canada? And Quebec just decides not to take July 1st off. I guess we'll find out soon enough. I was like the July 4th holiday. So, Ivan, you'll be on duty next Friday, and I'll take Monday, and you can have Monday off since that's July 4th.
Awesome.
Okay. I guess you'll be shooting, or I don't know what you guys do down there in the United
Yeah,
States.
I'm blowing our fingers off, getting drunk and blowing our fingers off. That's what we usually do. Actually, what I do is I try to assure my dog that the world is not ending and he's not going to die. The funny thing with that is when I first adopted him, his look of abject terror is exactly the same as "I'm so happy." So that was a little confusing at first. I thought he was thrilled about the fireworks, but no, it was like, "Yay, we're all gonna die!"
Sounds like my dog. Her reaction to "I'm hurt" is the exact same as her reaction to "Oh my God, you were away for 5 minutes." Julian says that we do, but we don't have this weird family day in August. It's not family day, it's civic holiday. It's a totally legitimate holiday. I love the fake holidays that we have in Canada. As a bookstore, I'm allowed to open whenever I want to, so I'm closed tomorrow, but open next week. Oh, you're smart. That's very smart. Yeah, in Canada, we have a family day, and they're kind of provincial holidays. Family Day is in February for us, and then we have something called Civic Holiday in August that has no legitimate name. It's just Civic Holiday. It's the dumbest name for a holiday ever. So when we used to deal with our American clients, it would always be like, okay, so we have another made up holiday next week, so I won't be available for that thing. Or I should say, in air quotes, I allegedly won't be available for that because I just go down to my computer all the time anyway, because when office is home, home is always work.
Yeah, the problem with that is there's no 5 o'clock.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm going to at some point put a barn door on this door, and I'm actually going to like physically close it every day because my entire entertainment center is over there with my like 70-inch TV and everything. So
when things go bing, you're like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. So I need to close this door so that when the light comes on, because my monitor has woken up, I don't see it. All right, folks, that's going to do it this week. So next week, we are going to have a video presentation about the check-in process.
Oh, I mean, come on. Thanksgiving was made up in the 1950s, too. Pretty much every holiday was made up at some point and was silly. At least we're not yet to the point of celebrating National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day.
Oh. Julian, this made up. Well, yeah, but come on now. But we actually do.
And that one's pretty new too, right? That's only been since past like 5 years.
And I think we have a reconciliation holiday in Ontario now. Yeah, well,
it was pretty cool when I moved to Canada, being able to celebrate 2 Thanksgivings.
Yeah, that's
October 1st and November 24th, or whatever the Thursday was closest to November 24th.
So we will be. So next week, we're going to have a video about the check-in process. I'm also going to record a few other videos in the next week that'll go up on the workflows, and then the following week we will have I'm going to also have a pre-recorded video because I'm away that week as well, and I think I'm going to do kind of a recap video of our Michigan trip. So you'll see stuff about Michigan. And so that means that the next live thought stream we will have will be why do I keep clicking the wrong buttons? Next live thought stream we will have is July 14th. But there will be thought streams in the meantime. So both the 30th and the 7th, we will have live videos going up. So they're just going to be videos that are pre-recorded that will have a premiere at the regular time. You'll still get emails about them and everything. And you're welcome to come by and chat because both Ivan and I will be around to chat with you. I'm going to just pull over on Thursday next week and find somewhere safe to chat on the live stream. And then the following week, I may or may not be around it at 3:00. We will see. And if I am, then I'll be on there. Otherwise, Ivan and probably Craig will be around to chat. So yeah. And thank you so much, Julian. I will enjoy my trip. Really looking forward to it. we will see you guys in a couple weeks. And take care. Thanks so much, Ivan.
Yeah, and I'll see you guys in the help me section. In the meantime.
That's going to do it for this week, folks. So thank you so much, and we will talk to you soon.